We fixing to make this town real smoking.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Harada and his new studio one more time. We have a lot of new information about a lot of people who's going to be joining his team. If you haven't seen the interview that I did with Dell, well, it wasn't really an interview, it was more so of a discussion that I did with Dell, the game developer. He gave a lot of information to us, and he was also talking a lot about how some Tekken developers may be joining him. And we're already starting to see the start of that, where two people are joining Harada. Now, before we get to that, let's just talk a little bit about what is happening with Harada himself. You have a Tekken 8 artist who made this artwork kind of celebrating Harada and just celebrating his new journey. But what I also noticed is that Harada, he kind of did this overhaul of his whole Twitter account. But so one thing he did not change was the Harada_Tekken. Now, I was talking with some people and they said that he doesn't necessarily need to change it. Bandai Namco may ask him to change it, but he's not forced to in any way. But some people were saying he should leave it because it's like kind of history there, it's legacy there. For those of you who know how Twitter works, if he changes the @ that means that all of the 10-year history, because his Twitter is like, 16 years old, that 16-year history of people tweeting at him will then go to a dead end if he changed the @ So it's kind of like very important that he keeps it in a way, but still the question remains how long until he decides to change it, if ever. But I also noticed too that there are some people on the internet who is claiming potential names that he would use. Harada_Tekken would probably be turned into Harada_VF Studios, Harada_VF. One person claimed it and they're reserving it for Harada, but currently they're using it for, as you can see there. One thing that I also want to talk about as well is Nakatsu. A lot of people are saying, why are you guys all of a sudden in love with Harada? Didn't you hate him back in season 2? And yes, that's true, but we didn't know necessarily the full truth. And that's kind of because Harada didn't want us to know. Harada wanted us to believe that the game was his creation, so that when he left, all of the negativity would leave as well. But the players found out that Harada was actually not the one in charge, and it was Nakatsu. This is when you heard people saying things like the Soul Calibur devs is ruining Tekken. That was in reference to the players discovering Nakatsu's hand was all over it. So that's why people in that moment and still over time started to kind of like not hate Harada, because they realized that Harada wasn't working on the game. It was Nakatsu all along. Harada kind of got promoted out of Tekken at the end of Season 3 Tekken 7, or beginning of Season 3 Tekken 7. And you can see going as far back as like Tekken 8, some tweets even further, where he kind of spoke out against Bandai Namco and some of the practices. The greed, the over monetization, valuing money over players. Harada spoke out very heavily against it. As you can see here in this tweet, I kind of tried to highlight that a little bit. One thing that Bandai Namco was for Harada is a roadblock. With this new studio, he doesn't have to deal with any of that. Like, you have this other tweet here, and this one goes back to 2024. So this is around the time when Harada was saying these things about Bandai Namco. He was creating a LinkedIn account. This is when the gears started turning. But in this long tweet here, you can see where he's talking about how games were about passion around the Tekken 2 era, Tekken 3 era, but then over time it transformed into this bigger industry that is all about how much money can we make, right? You can see here everything has become huge. All costs skyrocketed, and it takes longer. He once said he could make a Tekken a year. Those days are gone. It takes way more time, DLC, more support, more visuals, more a lot of things. He also says, as games have become a major industry, many stakeholders have emerged. There's more and more self-proclaimed industry people and executives who are not creators and do not have development experience and do not directly face the voices of the community. Come to think of it, it seems like every year there's more and more people who, when I try to do something with an idea, tell me, don't do it just because of idea or passion. I've done a lot of things with an idea. That's why we have the foundation we have today. But I guess people who don't have the experience in making things don't understand that. Well, that's now how immature the field has become. Nevertheless, no matter how well planned and smart you are, no one can guarantee that a game will be successful until the very end. This is the only thing that hasn't changed much. And that's pretty telling, right? He's making a new studio. That new studio is going to make a game, and we won't know whether or not the game is successful or not. The market is ever changing. We see games come and go all the time. Studios rise and fall every day. And Harada, yes, he's special to us, but the world is harsh, and it's really up to hard work, dedication, and sometimes a little bit of luck whether or not you succeed. But he definitely knew that success was not going to be had at Bandai Namco, which is why he left and separated. You have this tweet here that went re-viral where you have Harada talking about something that he would love to do. It says, if SNK creates a game model with 3D polygons, I want to develop a Samurai Showdown with Tekken project. And this is kind of like that whimsical side of Harada where he has all of this passion, all of these ideas. And now that he is working alongside SNK, he has an independent studio, but he has strong connections with SNK. It makes sense that not only is something like this a possibility, but whatever he's making, he can use SNK's material, right? I'm sure they'll greenlit it. But some of the people that he's hiring to make this a reality is this person here. Mr. Yuichi, the person on the left in this image, is a long-term co-worker with Harada. And this person also joined his SNK development studio, CCO. Some of the things he worked on is Tekken 7, Tekken 6, Tekken 5, Project X Zone 1 and 2, Soul Calibur 1 and 2. And when you look at this person's history, they haven't developed a game in over a decade, right? 2017 was the last time they touched the gaming industry. And you can see that Harada is kind of like digging deep into the roots and kind of getting the band back together. That's the meme that's going on right now, right? Another person that I think a lot of people haven't paid attention to is this person here, Mihara-san. This person worked on Tekken 8 and they were the netcode advisor for the game. I previously reported on this person and the fact that their contract ended and they were done with Tekken. This was at the same time when Harada retired from Tekken as well. So both of these guys stepped away from Tekken at the same time. They're very close friends. And also these guys were both kept in the dark about Tekken's new direction, fixing the game, updates, this and that. This person specifically said that they were very confused or shocked by it all because they have no knowledge of it. And that's a very telling thing. But something that we just recently learned about this person is that they also are joining SNK. And this information comes from a very important person who works at SNK, does a lot in fighting games. As you can see, King of Fighters, Samurai Spirits, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, right? So this person is very ingrained in that world. And in this interview, when you scroll to question 3, person you are personally paying attention to in 2025. So who are you interested in? And the SK guy says, we are currently working with Akira Productions of a new game. Confirms that they're working with the guy who did netcode for Tekken 8, who contract just expired, who would mean that they're looking for a new job, looking for a new contract, looking for a new game to work on. This is confirmation here that this person is working with SNK as well on a new game. This would mean that Harada's first game is potentially a fighting game that was previously in development at SNK. But yeah, so far that's pretty much the 3 people that we know who used to work on Tekken and now work on this SNK game. Harada has a very, very, very special opportunity here. And you can see that he's taking it seriously by hiring trusted colleagues, 2 people he worked with in the past for a very long time. They're trying to make it happen. So this is the latest and greatest with Harada. We'll keep a close eye on what comes next, but so far that is it.